stuck in traffic, stuck in traffic. Get out of my way, get out of my way. Stuck in traffic, stuck in traffic. Get out of my way. Woo! What's up, guys? It's Raven M2 here. Just spitting some bullshit at you today. Fucking women's rights. That's our topic today. No, I'm just kidding. Our topic today is going to be how to convince your parents to let you get God's gift for men. Hashtag a motorcycle. Hashtag D's nuts. So I've had a really hard time convincing my parents into letting me get a motorcycle. I'm 20 years old right now, and I finally got them to let me get a motorcycle. And they did not want anything to do with me near or on two wheels at all. I've been probably asking for a motorcycle ever since. Probably to them ever since 18, but I've wanted one since I was 17. And before that, I've wanted dirt bikes. Basically my whole life. So, basically the hardest way to go about this is the easiest way to go about this, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, because you're not inside my fucked up brain. So, what I did the first couple times, I was like, well, you know what, I'm 18, I have the money for it, I really want to get a motorcycle. And my mom was like, oh dear God, absolutely not. So basically first year, completely shut down, like don't even fucking say another word or we're gonna beat you with a pool cue. That's how bad it was. And then the next year, basically I got a little bit of talk back. Not much. Very unreceptive. Very, very unreceptive. And they were basically they basically said, no, you'll injure yourself, you'll die, I don't want to bury my son. Which, totally understandable. Totally understandable. I get that from every parent. I really do. I wouldn't want to bury my... Holy shit, what the fuck? Hold on. Do you see the size of that fucking hole? Holy shit. Anyways, back on topic. The second time, very unreceptive still, and they didn't want very much to do with the whole thing, which, understandable, I get that. And then this time, what I did differently was my friend asked me if I wanted to move into his house, and obviously as a 20-year-old guy living at my parents now, because freshman year, I'm a sophomore, okay, gonna be a junior in college now. So about 4 months ago when I was a sophomore, I wanted to move out, because freshman year I lived in the dorms, so I've been on my own before. And I know how it's like, so I knew I could do it. I had the money and everything. But my friend has a motorcycle as well, whose house he wanted me to live at. So I told him, listen, I'm gonna ask my parents one more time, if I can get a motorcycle. And if I can't, then I'm moving into your house, because I won't be able to have one at their house. And that's another thing my parents said. My mom said, if you buy a bike, you will not be allowed to live at our house anymore. So With that being in mind, and then me thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna get kicked out of the house, I just thought I could move out, and then that would solve my issues, and I could buy a bike then. But then if I moved out, I wouldn't have been able to afford a motorcycle, because that would have been way too expensive. I would have had to get a different job or a second job, and I don't want to do that because I'm in college and I'm a full-time student. But yeah, basically what I did was I went to him, I researched a shit ton about like crashes and stuff, and so I gave him like all this information about like statistics of crashes and a bunch of stuff, and then they basically were like, why the fuck are you giving us this? And so time went on, like a couple weeks went on, and then I was like, alright, listen, we need to sit down and talk about this, because if I can't get a motorcycle, I'm moving out. And it was basically an ultimatum, and I said I don't want to give you guys an ultimatum. So what they ended up doing was saying, alright, well, let us think about it. And I was like, well, I need to know, like, my friend Blake needs to know if he needs to get someone else to tell like the rest of the guys that he has a room open in his house, because he's about to tell like 80 guys, because we're both in the same fraternity. So then my dad was the one who was more against it, which I thought was odd. And then my mom was like, well, blah blah blah, I hate it, blah blah blah, but, and she had the but. And then my dad finally said, well, I guess you can try it, but if you don't like it, you have to sell it. And they made me promise that if I didn't like it, I would have to sell it. So that's how I got through it. And what I also did was, a year earlier, I actually took the MSF course and passed, so I had that to prove to them. And I'm gonna say, look, I passed the course, I have my motorcycle license, I can technically go out and I can legally ride one with insurance and stuff, because in Nebraska you have to at least have liability. But for my parents, you have to be really understanding. Do not push too hard. Well, you have to be pushy, not too pushy, because my parents would have shut you out. Be consistent. And I recommend going online, getting actual facts like deaths, accidents of like your state and even the nation, and saying, look, where we live, it is by far not as near dangerous as some of these other places. But I live in Omaha, and the drivers in Omaha are crazy as fuck, but drivers everywhere are crazy. But convincing your parents is a hard step for a lot of people. And another point is how I convinced my parents is I said I'm gonna get a small bike, like a smaller bike. That's why I chose the Ninja 300. And they felt a lot more comfortable with that, because they knew it was a smaller bike, it wasn't gonna like be too aggressive or anything. And my dad didn't want me to get a bike that I was lean forward on, which, whatever. So just remember, guys, if you're trying to convince your parents, just be very polite, be understanding, listen to them. Say, you actually have to listen, we need to talk about this, this is something I'm actually interested in. And if your parents just still flake you off, then I'm so sorry about that. Because as a parent, they should be willing to listen to your child no matter what it is. At least hear you out on it. I mean, a couple of years my parents didn't even do that, but finally I think they respected me enough that they knew this was something I was really passionate about. So as always, everyone, that is my opinion on how to convince your parents. There's many other ones. I think Yummy R6 has a couple. He even has a video with his dad dual vlogging with him, which I thought was pretty sick. And Chase on Two Wheels may have one. I don't know. But as always, guys, this is Raven M2 signing off.